grows, and grows very, very rapidly. And many disciples flock to him. He drifts further away from his family and grows closer to his students. The dream of Confucius of a serene, classless, fair, and peaceful society seems to be within his grasp. But the great thinker-teacher must now have political power and capture the attention of the ruling elite in order to put his theories to the test. So, Confucius seeks appointments from government officials. These rulers grant him many honors, but no positions. Nobody gives him a job. He calmly perseveres year after year through many bitter disappointments. All right, now, in 501 BC, Confucius is now 50 years old, which is, well, a fairly old man for the time. Most people don't live past 40 at this point in history. Well, when he's 50, everything changes. The three families become involved in a bitter war. A conflict that, well, essentially is destroying the countryside and ravaging the people. Well, Duke Ding of Lu, this is a new duke now, who's more enlightened than most rulers, sees the damage to his people and views Confucius as a way to maintain authority and, well, correct this devastating situation. So he begs Confucius to abandon his teaching and become his advisor. Well, of course, Confucius sees this as his chance to create a better world. And essentially he wants to transform Duke Ding into the savior of China. He also becomes not only the advisor to Duke Ding, but the chief of police. Okay. Confucius now has the power to put his radical ideas into action. And he wants very, very much to correct the conditions that create poverty and crime. He essentially, as the advisor to the Duke, creates a type of welfare system. Socialist in nature, many centuries ahead of its time. Under Confucius, young children, the incapacitated, the injured, the elderly, are fed and cared for at the expense of the state. His motto is education, not subjugation. To Confucius, humanity is a series of connecting lines or concentric circles that starts with the person or individual, then goes to the family, to the neighbors, to the society, to the nation, to the world, and to the universe. And, according to Confucius, love, justice, truth, and equality will radiate from example by following this concentric circle of humanity. All right? The ruler must commit himself to inspire his people to do good. He must have knowledge linked to moral behavior. Rulers, subjects, nobles, commoners, men, women, parents, children, all must accept their roles assigned to them by the gods and devote themselves to their responsibilities. This is a type of harmonious spiritual coordination. Now, essentially, hierarchical differentiations in governed actions. An ideal, peaceful world, according to Confucius, is within our grasp if we all do our part. A good ruler is a type of good parent who must have deep concern for the well-being of his subjects/children. A good ruler must have a moral vision. His actions and intentions must be animated by sincere feelings for the common folk. The ethical, the correct way, the way of the sages, the way of the teacher, the way of the true kings. Morality must be the supreme controlling force. All right. Essentially, benevolent paternalism aided by a knowledgeable civil service that is trained and educated in the principles of good conduct and contact, moral orthodoxy. All right, so Confucius has become the advisor to the Duke and the chief of police. Well, the people respond to Confucius and his enlightened rule. While he's in power, the streets are safe. Crime virtually disappears. There's little graft and corruption, and his radical ideas of government are a big, big success. Of course, success breeds powerful enemies. The three families unite against Confucius. They view him as a dangerous reformer who must be stopped. All right. His enemies hatch a simple plot to end his rule. The three families send 100 beautiful concubines to Duke Ding. And, well, the Duke likes the ladies. And he's enchanted by the gift. And he spends all his time getting laid. He quickly forgets Confucius and his reforms. Essentially, the Duke is taken over by the power of the pussy. All right? All right. Confucius is stunned, humiliated, heartbroken by the Duke's betrayal. His dream is shattered, and he sadly takes to the road. He decides to leave. He leads his disciples away from Lu while they all sing mournful songs. And Confucius and his buddies, his students, will spend the next 13 years, essentially 497 to 484 BC, walking the length of eastern China in search of a noble, wise ruler who will implement his policies. During his travels, he again witnesses the terrible suffering of the people. The peasants are slaughtered by invading armies. They're crushed by taxes. They're neglected by their rulers and government. Confucius sees many, many grim proofs of the injustices of the world. His heart goes out to the people, but his spirit weeps. His intellect, his great mind, keeps him going, walking mile after mile. He must somehow convince the rich and powerful nobles and warlords to change, or China will surely die. All right, with that thought, we're going to take a musical break. When we come back, we're going to get into Confucius's later years and his rich legacy and philosophy that he has left behind for all of us to learn from and to share. All right, this is Fei Wang and the Cocteau Twins with a song entitled Reiki Heart.